U.S. Congressman says, revealing that UFO technology is a threat to the energy sector because it can disrupt the world economy. A thought provoking interview recently conducted between Project Unity host Jay Anderson and U.S. Congressman Andy Ogles. The discussion focused on the implications of complete UAP disclosure, what we call UFO. Anderson asked serious questions to Representative Ogles about UFOs, revealing that the release of extraterrestrial technology could potentially disrupt the world economy and energy sector, because we're talking about free energy, of course. Representative Andy Ogles spoke about the difficulty in gathering information due to the compartmentalization of special access projects, emphasizing the need for a methodical and persistent approach to uncover the truth. In the interview, he expressed his concern about UAP operation in both military and commercial airspace, raising questions about the potential national security threats. He said, "I'm not going to assume I know what it may or may not be. What I do know is there's a national security issue here," he said. He considers various possibilities, including the involvement of experimental aircraft, joint ventures, or foreign adversaries. He emphasizes the importance of avoiding predetermined conclusions and encourages an open-minded investigation to determine the nature of the UAP phenomenon. And when asked about his personal understanding of UAPs, Representative Ogles talked about the hope that it might be advanced technology possessed by the United States. He says, "My hope would be some new technology that we possess puts us that next generation above our adversaries." However, he acknowledges that the mysterious aspects of UAPs, saying that they seem to defy physics. Ogles then considers the energy implication of advanced propulsion technology displayed by UAPs. He wonders about the amount of energy needed for such rapid movements and how it could impact the energy sector. He says, that being said, these UAPs seem to defy physics. They seem to have some sort of propulsion technology that's unknown to man as we understand it. So what does that do to the energy sector? If there's a new way of thinking about the amount of energy it takes to take a craft that's hovering and suddenly it's gone, Mach 1 in a matter of seconds, the human body can't sustain that as we understand it, right? So that craft would have to have next level technology to protect tissue, if you will, or it's an unmanned type of a craft. Again, these are just a lot of questions that have to be probed. But if there is this propulsion technology out there and this energy capability out there, not only are we in a renaissance when it comes to aircraft, but we're in a renaissance in terms of propulsion and energy production consumption. So again, huge implications across the economic scale, both domestically and internationally. He mentions his inquiries in committee about the Department of Energy, DOE, suggesting it could be the ideal place to house top secret technologies. He says, if you're going to house a top secret next level technology, what better place to have it and house it than nuclear facilities? Everybody knows about Area 51. It's a testing area. You've got this super top secret, super secret facility that again would be ideal to have and to house some new technology, emerging technology that we want to fully master for ourselves and quite frankly control. Because again, as you look at the next generation of warfare, it's not just tanks and planes, it's drones, it's unmanned aircraft, it's economic. There's a lot that's about to happen as we go forward as a superpower and our competitive edge on the global stage. And later in the interview, Jay Anderson brings up Congressman Burchett's positive impression of David Grush's testimony during classified briefings. Representative Ogles says that credible sources have vouched for Grush's reliability. He suggests believing what Grush says, thinking about it carefully, and not trying to say it was wrong without some good proof. Ogles says it's important to keep an open mind focused on getting answers and not try to finding faults without good reason. And Ogles explains it does not require unanimous congressional support, but rather the Speaker's will to initiate action. He emphasizes bipartisan interest in addressing the issue and expresses the need for a select committee to ensure transparency and accountability in the investigation. And he, along with Congressman Burchett, acknowledges the likelihood of a multi-decade cover-up or compartmentalization due to secretive nature of special access programs, SAPs, and classified information related to national security. And when asked about evidence suggesting reverse engineering or more exotic propositions, Representative Olkos mentions the classification of such information and the need for careful consideration. He discusses questions about the origin of technology, whether it is our own creation or recovered from elsewhere, and the potential for reverse engineering. Stephen Bassett, the only registered lobbyist of Washington and founder of Paradigm Research Group, shares the same UFO disclosure concerns that will pose serious implications for the world's economy. The PRG researchers claim that they have known the reasons why the U.S. authorities are hiding information about UFOs. According to them, disclosing UFO data would lead to the collapse of the entire world economy. Bassett added that all so-called flying saucers, quote-unquote, do not use oil, gasoline, gas, or coal. They have a different energy system, without a doubt, a much more complex and deep system based on anti-gravity, he said. Some programs have been removed from the jurisdiction of the White House and Congress and are working somewhere very, very deep in a hidden mode, the researcher emphasized. I assure you, when the head of the state finally officially admits this fact and presents evidence, people will start to worry and want to know more. But even if the economy stops developing in the current way, it will have new opportunity, Bassett believes. During an interview with U-Interview, he said that UFOs are not unidentified flying objects, as the acronym suggests, but rather alternative energy and propulsion devices. The technology behind UFOs was heavily studied by a team headed by Dr. Vannevar Bush in the 1940s and 50s, then 60s, and by 1954 they had developed what's known as gravity control and zero-point energy. Now, editor's note says January 2015, former NASA astronaut Edgar Mitchell sent an email to Podesta asking to have an urgent meeting to discuss disclosure and zero-point energy, ZPE. He was concerned about the peace in space, and Mitchell wrote, "My Catholic colleagues Terry Mansfield will be there too to bring us up to date on the Vatican's awareness of extraterrestrial intelligence. Another colleague is working on a new space treaty, citing involvement with Russia and China. However, with Russia's extreme interference in Ukraine, I believe we must pursue another route for peace in space and zero-point energy on Earth." However, Dr. Greer stated that the secrecy surrounding this technology went off the rails and became deeply entrenched in compartmented intelligence operations, even causing President Eisenhower to become frustrated with being denied information on such projects. Dr. Greer said, "The problem became to be, and that is what President Eisenhower warned us about, the secrecy became so enmeshed and compartmented in intelligence operations that even he as president lost control over it." And he further stated, "One of our military witnesses, he was a young man working at the White House, which I'm looking at for my place here in Washington, told us Mr. Lupkin, who is an attorney, said that Eisenhower was very frustrated that he was being denied information on the projects controlling this issue. So the secrecy went off rails into these unacknowledged special access projects. The disclosure of UFOs would mean the end of oil, gas, coal, and public utilities, as the technology would completely transform the world. Those with trillions of dollars invested in these industries would not be enthused about this possibility, and that's the reason for the secrecy, and it has been maintained for 70 years or so, according to Dr. Stephen Greer of the Disclosure Project. And this is on House and Wise by Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.